Well, as expected, a lot of people thought this would happen. Kyle Dubas is now in charge. He's not the GM. He will hire that person, but he's in charge of just about everything, and he has direct say to the ownership, something he didn't have in Toronto. However, Jeff Hathhorn, he comes here with a situation where he's got the oldest team in hockey. He's got 3 guys who are going to be Hall of Famers. They want to win now. They still do. The window's still open, yet he is also responsible for the future on a team that doesn't have all that much draft equity because they've won so much. Can he do both?
No. It's a problem. It's a problem the last administration had because they came in and like, we're going to get bigger, we're going to win now, and we're also going to win in the future. Like, that is almost an impossibility in a salary cap world.
Right.
They've already committed, especially with the no trade contracts, to winning now. Trade those first round picks, sell it all, and try to win right now because you've already committed to that. If you go the other way, you're just going to be middling and you're going to look back and say, damn, we really didn't go for it.
The worst thing you can be, Pomp, and I know these guys agree with it in any professional sport, is just caught in between, down the middle, not picking a direction. The Penguins, under Jim Rutherford, to his credit, picked a direction. They sold the farm. They were trying to get Cups, and they did. I don't understand quite why that changed or how that changed. The Penguins basically went from an organization, I know when I was there covering them, where there was like an acceptance that after Crosby, Malkin, Letang, or whatever, they were just going to stink. And like, okay, whatever, we'll start it again. That's what this costs. But all of a sudden, there's more talk about serving the future as well as the present. And I'm with Jeff. I don't think you can do it.
It's okay to be the LA Rams. Like, that's fine.
Go need one more cup out of this group.
Right.
Well, you don't even need it. You want one more.
Go all in now. People don't care. If you have a parade on Grand Street, or even if you make a run to the Cup Finals, people don't care about 2 years from now. They remember those moments. They want those times. They have those times. And that's what's paramount. And that's what they – go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, you know what built this core? Them stinking really bad.
Right.
That's what built this core. It wasn't out of great scouting, or it was out of a little bit of luck and being really horrible. So it's not so bad to be really horrible in 2026.
Right. A quarterback from Findlay, Ohio didn't arrive here because the Steelers were great just before.
Right. They picked 11th overall.
Well, and I mean, you can look back at that group, too, and say they got 4 cups. 4?
Yeah,
you have absolutely nothing to complain about.
Not at all. But people will still do that down the road, but that's okay. Here, let's talk about what he has to do right off the bat. And, you know, he's not had a good track record with goaltending in Toronto. It's one position he never really addressed adequately, including to the point where he brought in Matt Murray this year. You have Tristan Jarry. He's going to be his first thing that he has to deal with. He and Zucker, 2 prominent free agents. Do you bring them both back? Do you sign him? Zucker's going to be in his 32 years old. How can you give him another contract? What would you do?
You know, I would try to convince Tristan Jarry of like, hey, you've dealt with injuries, big contracts out there, but why don't you do a trial here?
Yeah,
do a year. Do a bridge deal. Show me that you can play at this level. Well, then you go find somebody else. I mean, I think that's the reality of it. And I think Zucker is a luxury that they can't probably afford, but I would love to see what I saw from him last year on this team.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with either one of them, and I don't think you can. Like, I would take that approach with Jarry and say, if you want to do 1 or 2 years at a cheap rate and prove it, then we'll have you here. And I don't think he would take that. I think he would want to go somewhere else. And with Zucker, they're going to have to get out from under so much, Pomp. Eating salary or something like that, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that and keep Zucker.
No on Zucker, but Jarry will be the opening day goaltender because they won't go out in the free agency market because nothing's there, and it'll just be the safe play to go with Jarry.
All right, Mike Sullivan has a long contract, Jason. So we're in a situation where you hear him say the other day that there is no expiration on Mike Sullivan. He can coach as long as he wants. How long does that really last? If they have a bad year, if next year's, I mean, at some point, he can't possibly believe that.
I don't look at this team as being in danger of losing Mike Sullivan, or Mike Sullivan losing this team, maybe I should say. I think he's.
What are the expectations then?
That he wins more than a round in the playoffs, that they make a run?
That's the expectation. If Mike Sullivan loses 3 games in a row, he might get fired.
No. I mean, based on what evidence?
Based on the guy didn't want to ruin the cheerleading quotient to the day in which he was hired with John Henry standing 15 feet from him.
I don't think they want to pay a guy to not coach for 4 years.
Kyle Dubas is going to take care of Kyle Dubas, and Kyle Dubas is going to make sure this organization is stewarded in the right direction.
But Mike Sullivan the furthest thing from the problem. He's the furthest thing from the problem.
I wouldn't agree with that all the time.
The roster stinks. It's old.
I wouldn't agree with that all the time. I think the style that is employed by Mike Sullivan is sometimes a bit of a problem. But I'll say this. If they get to Christmas and they're not in the top 3 in the division, they might go a different direction. I don't think Dubas is going to hesitate to do that.
Well, the one thing is, I mean, as long as he wants in NHL terms is a lot shorter than most sports. I mean, NHL is notoriously quick to get rid of somebody or create a spark. We've seen it. Penguins have won cups because they've done it. You know, teams have gotten a spark because they fired a coach. But I don't agree. I think Sullivan's clear for a year. Even if they really stink, I think it'll be more, well, you know what, Hextall and those guys left us with a horrible team. We still believe in Mike. We got to rebuild.
If they rebuild the roster and then they fall flat on their face because of something you can argue is maybe coaching, yes, I agree with you. But I don't see FSG removing a Boston guy from that ownership the way with 2 cups? No.
Yeah, but hockey coaches are always the first to go, and it doesn't take much, it seems. And
then they hire one of the other 7 because they just recycle 8 guys.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what's happening with the Steelers with regard to left tackle. They've got a guy at 14th overall. A lot of people think because of that he should be the starter. Will he be? Should he be? One of the teammates on that line has a different opinion. We'll talk about it next.